All right, for part 2, we're going to look at how to do some embroidery work or stitching work on here. I picked a color I haven't used in here yet so that it really shows up better, but your color choice is up to you. The first thing we're going to want to do is tie a double knot in the end of the string. And the easiest way to tie a double knot is take 3 of your fingers, wrap it around. It's going to crisscross under here, right? I'm going to tuck that string in, just like you would start tying your shoe, and pull it till it makes a knot. I'm going to do the exact same thing again. Tuck it through the hole, and I'm going to keep pulling it, but I'm going to do it slower because I'm going to pull a little bit on each side to try and get it right on top of that other knot that's already there, so that now it's a double knot. The next thing I want to do is go to the other end. You notice I have quite a bit. It's about 4 lengths, arm lengths that I have on here, and I could try and like thread this way. It's going to take me a long time because, as you can see, it doesn't want to go in. It keeps bumping up against it. I'm going to show you an easier way. If you take a sheet of paper and you snip a narrow rectangle off of it, and usually a thicker paper is better, fold that in half, right? So it's like a little mini card or a little V. Then you're going to take that thread or yarn and put it in that little crook, right, where the little bend is. Then I'm going to take the other side and I'm going to put it through the eye of the needle and pull, and then that gets it right through there for me. I am going to pull this down quite a bit so it's doubled up, but it's not doubled up the whole length because I want it single, but I want it enough that it's out of my way and I'm not tying anything else at this point, right? I'm not going to tie anything else. And what I want to do is I want to start stitching on my paper, and I want to start from the back side because I don't want my little knot to show, right? So I'm going to poke it through my paper, pull gently until I get to the knot, and it'll stop. See, it got taut, it got tight once I got to that knot on there, didn't it? And then I'm going to come here and I'm going to poke carefully. Now when I'm poking, you'll notice my fingers are close to that needle in the back, but they are not under it. While these are rounded needles, they can still hurt a little bit if you poke yourself. So be careful that you're poking between your fingers, not into your fingers on the back side. You're going to pull it through again, very gently, until you have a nice little stitch. And then you're going to come about 2 fingers over, and you're going to do another one. And you try and keep it the same distance between here and here all the way around your symbol, right? And you might even have to turn your paper a little bit. I want to keep it in the pink, and I can kind of go like this and push at the same time. Again, it poked between my fingers. I want to support the paper so the paper doesn't bend or break. If it gets looped on there, you just have to unloop it and gently pull until it's gently, nicely tight. And then we're going to keep going all the way around. I'll show you how to tie it off at the end. Okay, you're going to notice now when I'm pulling this through how my thread's overlapping. When it gets to the end, it starts to pop out a little bit more. It's because I'm getting near to the place where I folded and doubled up my yarn. See it now, it's not coming out anymore. So then all you have to do is gently pull that extra piece out. You're going to come down to this piece and give your yarn a little tug so it makes that tail shorter again, and then you can just keep sewing. Okay, now I've gotten all the way around my edge, so I'm going to flip it over, and I should be back to where I started, pretty close there. So what I can do is snip off my yarn. I've given myself a little extra on both sides. This is one where I had the knot, and this is the new one. And then I'm just going to tie it like I would tie my shoe. 1 time, gently pull. 2 times, gently pull. So I've got a double knot there. And I can just snip that off. Now, I also want to do something a little bit more exciting, so I'm going to take this bead, and I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to stitch it in there for my bird's eye. I'm going to do the same thing when tying off the yarn. I'm going to do that. Loop around, right? Tuck it through the hole, and then pull it once. Loop around, tuck it through the hole. Carefully pull it twice to get that double knot in there. And I want to start on the back side because I don't want to see it. I'm going to kind of have to feel where that eye should go a little bit because my papers don't show it quite as much. Plus, I'm going through 3 layers this time, so I might even put it down on the table and help pull paper up and push the needle down to get it to go through so I don't hurt myself, because that's going to pop through a little harder. Take my bead, put it on there, pull it down until I hit that knot in the back and it stops. I'm going to turn it over. I want to make sure there's enough space between this other hole and a new hole that it doesn't tear a big hole in there, right? So I'm going to do that. Work it through those 3 layers of paper again. Pull it through. Get that bead in there. Turn it over, snip it off like I did before. Come over here and then do that double tie. Tie 1 time, tie 2 times. Because if we only tie 1 time, it might come undone. If we double knot it like that, it's less likely to come undone. There we go. And I have finished stitching around my molas. There's one more thing we can add. If you would like to add additional fun stitches but not go through all of the trouble of using the yarn, you can also get construction paper crayons and you can draw your stitches in the locations where you think they should be throughout your paper. You might also choose to do some additional stitching in places such as the wings, and then you can just add on those little dashes that would look like stitches. Again, if you want to take the time to use the actual thread to do this, you may do so, but it doesn't always have a lot of time in class. One doesn't always have a lot of time in class to go through and do all of the finer stitching. And this would be an option for you to be able to continue the project and give it those added details, since you already have the stitching concept down, and you would be able to fill more of your work in this way to give it greater interest. When you've gotten it how you would like it in enough detail, you can just put it on the drying rack, make sure your name's on the back.